You wake in your bed, drenched in a cold sweat. The room is black, the darkness suffocating. You try to move, but your body won't respond. It's as if a weight is pressing down on your chest, invisible hands tightening around your throat. In the corner of the room, a shape stirs, a face you can't quite see, but you know it's watching you. Your breath comes in ragged gasps as whispers slither through the darkness, voices that know your fears, that call your name. Then, just as the last gasp of air leaves your lungs, the face turns into a smile, and everything fades to black once more. This was no mere dream. You have been visited by something beyond your comprehension. Every night, mortals slip into the world of sleep, a realm where time is twisted, where memories are blurred, where the laws of reality fray at the edges. Here, one Daedric prince reigns supreme, Vaermina, Mistress of Nightmares, Queen of the unseen horrors. Unlike other princes who rule through domination or corruption, Vaermina preys on something far more insidious, your mind itself. She is the shadow in the darkness, the whisper in the silence, the terror that lingers just beyond the corner of your sight, never visible, but always watching, always waiting. Her influence stretches across Tamriel, from isolated cults to whole cities clouded by her nightmares. She does not simply torment for amusement's sake, she feeds on the deepest fears of mortals. Some seek her out for forbidden knowledge, others are ensnared in her schemes, but none who encounter her will remain unchanged. So tonight, when you close your eyes, take a moment to wonder, will your dreams be your own, or will you just become another victim of the Mistress of Nightmares? For mortals, sleep should be a refuge, a place of rest. But under Vaermina's gaze, it becomes something else entirely, a parallel world of terror, a prison of shifting horrors where reality unravels, where fear takes its most primal forms. Unlike other Daedric princes, Vaermina does not demand worship in the traditional sense. She is a predator of the subconscious, a weaver of nightmares who thrives on the raw, unfiltered terror of mortals. While other princes grant power, pleasure, or even twisted forms of purpose, Vaermina's gifts are curses disguised as visions, dreams that leave their victims broken, knowledge that drives them to madness. She is not merely a tormentor, but an architect of the unseen. To her, nightmares are more than fleeting illusions. They are weapons, tools to manipulate and reshape the minds of those who suffer them. Her motivations remain unknowable. Does she take pleasure in suffering? Or is she something entirely more alien? A being that exists beyond our comprehension? Some believe she is a keeper of hidden truths, that her nightmares reveal forbidden knowledge to those strong enough to endure them. Others say she is a force of entropy, unravelling the minds of the weak until nothing remains. Her origins themselves are shrouded in mystery. In Khajiit myth, she is known as one of the primordial dark spirits. Legends call her the lost daughter of Padme, said to have been born from her mother's fear of losing her children. But this fear soon became a reality, as Vaermina was slain by Azura in the underworld. From then on, she lost her power over the waking world, though she still continued to haunt the dreams of mortals. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: Vaermina's power is inevitable. After all, sooner or later, every mortal must sleep, and when she comes for you, it will be in the darkness, without warning, without mercy, and when you wake, if you ever do, you will never be the same. There are many terrible places in Oblivion: Molag Bal's Cold Harbour, Mehrunes Dagon's Deadlands, Pereite's pestilent pits, but few are as fundamentally disturbing as Vaermina's domain of Quagmire. It is a realm where the laws of reality are not just broken, but rewritten entirely, where existence itself becomes a waking nightmare. In the Doors of Oblivion, one daedrologist recalls the horror of this realm. Every few minutes, there was a flash of lightning, and reality shifted, always to something more horrible and horrifying. A dark castle one moment, a den of ravening beasts the next, a moonlit swamp, a coffin where he was buried alive. This is the essence of Quagmire, an endless cycle of fear where there can be no sanctuary. Scholars and mystics have long wondered about the deeper purpose of this place. Vaermina is known to steal the memories of mortals, but to what end? Does she devour them, consuming the thoughts and fears of those who dream? Perhaps she hoards them, collecting the most horrifying moments of mortal lives like some kind of sick trophy. If her Quagmire is built upon the horrors of the sleeping mind, then perhaps its ever-shifting landscape is a reflection of the torments she has gathered across the ages. More than anything, her realm is a perfect mirror of Vaermina herself, unpredictable, surreal, and inescapable. Vaermina's artifacts reflect her nightmarish domain. The Skull of Corruption is her most infamous relic, a sinister staff capable of creating a duplicate of its target, a doppelganger that will turn against the original. The staff is immensely powerful, said to have a will of its own, feeding on the memories and fears of those around it. The Orb of Vaermina is a lesser-known artifact, yet no less insidious. Used for scrying, it was once stolen from Vaermina's realm and wielded by mortals seeking forbidden knowledge. It is said to have played a role in the schemes of the Thalmor during the Great War, allowing them to spy on the Empire, until the artifact was recovered by a nameless hero. Both these relics serve as a grim reminder of Vaermina's influence, where reality is never as it seems, and the mind itself becomes a battleground. Vaermina's worship is as mysterious as the Lady of Nightmares herself. She is not a prince who demands grand temples to be built in her name. Her veneration is far more subtle. Those who follow her do not simply worship, they surrender themselves entirely. To devote oneself to Vaermina is to offer one's dreams, fears, and even memories as tribute. Unlike the cults of other Daedric princes, which often promise power to their followers, Vaermina's faithful are drawn to something far more insidious, the oblivion of the self. Her rites are among the most disturbing of all the Daedric princes. Blood sacrifices are common, not simply to appease Vaermina, but to weaken the barriers between dream and reality. More terrifying still is the theft of memories. It is said that her priests can strip away a person's past, leaving them as a hollow vessel, an empty mind to be filled with nightmares of the cult's choosing. Some are left in a fugue state, their identities forever lost, while others become devoted zealots, shaped by horrors they no longer remember. One of the most infamous rituals of Vaermina's cults involves a state known as the Dream Stride, an eldritch journey through the mind of another. By drinking Vaermina's torpor, a rare and dangerous potion, a cultist can slip into the mind of another soul, experiencing their memories as if they were their own. The Dream Strider does not simply watch, they relive their memories, fully immersed in another's past, often with no distinction between reality and illusion. Some return from the Dream Stride changed, their own identities blurred with the lives they have invaded. Others never return at all, lost in a dream that becomes their prison. Her priests, meanwhile, are more than mere worshippers. They are often powerful alchemists and illusionists, manipulators of the mind, who use potions, poisons, and rituals to break the wills of others. Some operate in secret, while others are more brazen, members of zealous cults who revel in the suffering they inflict. In the end, to serve Vaermina is to give up the certainty of reality. To dream is to be vulnerable, to sleep is to surrender, and for those who truly give themselves to her, even waking up may offer no escape. Vaermina rarely intervenes in the mortal world, but when she does so, the consequences can be devastating. In the closing days of the Third Era, the hero of Kvatch stumbled across a shrine to Vaermina on the shore of a lake. The Mistress of Nightmares appeared before the hero, uttering the following words.
"We meet again, mortal, for we have met before, whether you know it or not. When you mutter in your sleep, you speak to me. When you waken wet with sweat, you've just left my house. I dwell in your dreams. I savor your nightmares. Now you will serve me. The wizard Arkfed has the Orb of Vaermina, snatched from the dreams of my followers and dragged into the waking world. Travel to his tower and retrieve my orb. Take care, though, mortal. In my orb, Arkved has found more than he bargained for.
The hero travelled to Arkved's tower, finding what seemed to be an abandoned fort from the outside. But once they crossed the threshold, they soon realised something was amiss. The wizard's dining room was laid out for a grand feast, yet there were no signs of life. Moving on, the hero found another abandoned room, but looking up, they saw the banquet table from before, suspended upside down from the ceiling. It was clear that something supernatural was afoot. As the hero pushed deeper, they continued to find sights that were surreal, even impossible. Streams of lava leaking through the walls, Daedric horrors from the depths of oblivion, dark chasms with endless depths. It seemed as if the very walls of the dungeon were closing around them. With no choice but to continue, the hero encountered terrors that blurred the lines between dreams and reality. Great spikes covered in gore, a hall of flaming corpses hanging in the void. They even discovered an exact replica of Arkved's tower, transported deep into oblivion, a hint to the wizard's ultimate fate. Finally, in the deepest bowels of the dungeon, the hero discovered the wizard, trapped in an interminable slumber. On the nearby desk, they found a handwritten note, penned in a trembling hand. There is no world so great as the world of the mind. There is no voyager so well travelled as the traveller in the land of dreams. There is no abyss so deep as the well of terror that lies within each of us. I have plumbed its depths. I have seen the unthinkable. I am unafraid. Even death's boundaries do not confine me. I am the lord of limitless space and the master of place and time. Through the doors of sleep, the universe lies waiting for me. I will no longer wait for my dreams to carry me worlds away, to unknowable deeps, to unspeakable vastness. I shall dwell in the house of Vaermina forever, the orb my companion. There is no compass to my destination, no end to my journey. My mind is the eternal voyager, fearless and wild with wonder in the halls of horror. Yet this note was accompanied by two others, scrawled on crumpled pieces of paper. The first reads, "I shall lie here in the dark, waiting for death." The second, barely legible, simply repeats, "The horror, the horror." Retrieving the orb and returning to the shrine, the hero was told that Arkved would live out the rest of his days trapped in a nightmare. As a reward, Vaermina bestowed the Skull of Corruption upon the hero, a token of her favour. After this, all mention of Vaermina vanishes from the pages of history for almost 2 centuries, before re-emerging in the land of Skyrim. In the frigid north of the province, on the edge of the Sea of Ghosts, lay the bleak town of Dawnstar. Its people were plagued by relentless nightmares. Night after night, they would awake drenched in sweat, hearts pounding in terror. Fear festered in their hearts, and they trembled at the setting of the sun and the nocturnal horrors it would bring. In the midst of their suffering, a stranger arrived. Erendur, a priest of Mara. He alone knew the truth. These nightmares were no simple affliction, but the insidious touch of Vaermina herself. Long ago, her followers had made their home in Nightcaller Temple. There, they had worshipped their cruel mistress, drawing power from the Skull of Corruption, an artifact capable of siphoning the very thoughts and dreams of mortals. But their dark rites had been interrupted. A warband of orcs, seeking to destroy the cult, stormed the temple. In desperation, the priests released the miasma, a cursed vapour that plunged both defender and invader into an unnatural sleep. The temple had stood silent for years, frozen in time, but now something had changed. The skull had begun to stir, stretching out its influence, poisoning the minds of Dawnstar's people. Erendur knew there was only one way to end their suffering, to descend into the temple and confront the horror that lay within. Joining forces with the hero known as the Last Dragonborn, Erendur led an expedition to the ruined temple. Inside, the air was thick with dust, undisturbed by intruders. Vaermina's priests and the orcish invaders were frozen in time, locked in eternal battle. At the heart of the ruin stood an impenetrable barrier of shimmering magic. Beyond it, the Skull of Corruption, pulsing with malevolent energy. But the way forward was blocked, and only one path remained. Erendur revealed that before he became a priest of Mara, he had once been Casimir, a devotee of Vaermina. Using his knowledge, he gave the hero the potion known as Vaermina's Torpor, allowing them to enter the dream stride, the interstice between dream and reality. The hero entered the memories of Casimir during the orcish raid on the temple. As Casimir, the hero pulled a chain to release the miasma, and in the process, cleared the way to the inner sanctum in the present. Descending into the chamber, the skull of corruption lay before them, twisting, whispering, feeding on the suffering of the city. Erendur knelt before it, whispering a prayer to Mara. He would destroy the artifact and end Vaermina's grip over the townsfolk. But a voice, soft as silk, slithered into the hero's mind.
He's deceiving you. When the ritual's complete, the skull will be free, and then Erendur will turn on you. Quickly, kill him now. Kill him and claim the skull for your own. Vaermina commands you.
The hero had seen the skull's power. They had witnessed the horrors that unfolded in its wake, and now she offered them a choice. They could allow Erendur to finish his task, forsaking Vaermina's gift forever, or they could strike him down and claim the skull as their own. In the flickering light of the sanctum, fate hung in the balance, and so, with steel or silence, the hero made their choice, though the path they chose has been lost to history. So what does all of this tell us about the Lady of Nightmares? Well, to many, Vaermina is nothing more than a weaver of terror who preys on the minds of mortals. But horror is never without purpose. In a way, fear is power, and in this, Vaermina holds dominion over something far greater than mere dreams. She rules over the hidden depths of the mortal psyche, shaping thoughts and decisions in ways more insidious than any other Daedric prince. What is a nightmare but a reflection of the self? Vaermina does not create fear, she merely reveals it. The visions she conjures are drawn from the deepest recesses of the mind, the places mortals refuse to look. A great warrior may face 1,000 foes without hesitation, yet quail before the formless dread that grips him in his sleep. In this way, Vaermina is more than a tormentor. She is a mirror, a window into our souls, stripping away the lies we tell ourselves and exposing our deepest vulnerabilities. But there is a darker possibility still. Some whisper of an ancient truth, a theory so unsettling that few dare to contemplate it. The world itself, they say, is a dream, a grand illusion playing out within the mind of a god long dead. If this is true, then perhaps no prince wields greater power than Vaermina. For if she is the mistress of dreams, she may hold dominion over the nature of reality itself. Perhaps she does not torment mortals for mere amusement. Perhaps, in some way, she is testing the boundaries of a dream that has lasted since the dawn of time. And we are left to wonder, what will become of the world if she ever finds a way to wake the dreamer? You struggle to stay awake, to resist the pull of sleep, but your eyelids grow heavier with every passing moment. You tell yourself that they are just dreams, just figments of an overactive mind, but deep down you wonder. When you finally drift off, will your dreams be your own? Or will you awaken in a place of horror? Or will you even wake at all? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos on the Elder Scrolls. And let me know in the comments if there are any topics you'd like to see covered on the channel. And until next time, wealth beyond measure.